You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week. We're covering what fire agencies are asking everyone to do as we enter a period of high fire danger. Then disturbing details we uncovered about a dispute between a Roseville landlord and her tenant. That landlord is now behind bars accused of homicide. Plus, we go behind the scenes at Pixar's new movie. ABC10 Plus This Week starts now. Keep in mind, fire danger is only increasing as we head into the summer.
So true, and CAL FIRE crews are urging everyone to prepare now, meaning defensible space, go bags, and mowing. But as ABC10's Paul Sanga reports, officials warn you must be smart about how you clear brush.
Fire's a reality. If it gets into here, it really won't do much if this is mowed.
Tom Beam knows a thing or two about clearing defensible space, as his work includes clearing land.
There's a lot of programs out there to help you clear and get defensible space. Take advantage of those.
Beam's property was one of many that was put to the test during Tuesday's Bonanza fire, as flames could have gotten closer, if not for the work he did last year. 5 acres cleared.
Came up and made a hard turn where I had cleared. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of grateful that we cleared it when we did.
CAL FIRE says that is the key. Mow smart, clear smart, and get serious, especially around your home.
What we're really focusing on this year is zone 0. Remove all that vegetation where those plants or anything close to your home can ignite on fire and start your house on fire as well.
Zone 0 means the first 5 feet from your house. No flammable plants or wood piles. The goal is to eventually clear 100 feet away from the property. Officials say mow early, before sunrise.
Start early in the morning, mowing those lawns, mow smart, avoid any rocks and any embers to spark and get into the grass.
CAL FIRE says it is important to remove the vegetation that is closer to the ground, because if the fire comes here, then it's going to continue to level up and go into the tree.
If we have access to your property, we can get in there, and if we can safely do work around your home, we're going to be more aggressive with getting the fire stopped before it reaches the neighborhoods.
The whole state of California as a whole is still ready to burn.
So have your go bag, car fueled, and your plan ready. Reporting in El Dorado County, Paul Sanga, ABC 10.
And Governor Gavin Newsom says CAL FIRE continues to step up as a critical wildfire response team is understaffed. Comes after members of the National Guard were diverted to L.A. by President Donald Trump. It is a death investigation that has shaken a Roseville neighborhood.
A 65-year-old woman was found dead in a home on Richards Drive last week. Newly uncovered court documents are shedding light on what appears to have been a volatile and escalating relationship between 2 roommates. ABC 10's Paul Sanga has the story.
These photos taken by a neighbor shows Roseville police at a home on Richards Drive last Wednesday. Officers responded to a welfare check. When they arrived, they found 65-year-old Monique Law dead inside. Her accused killer, 61-year-old Mia Fisher, Monique's landlord and roommate. Mia was arrested the next day and is now charged with first-degree murder. According to court documents, the 2 women met through an ad on spareroom.com in late December of 2024. Monique moved in just days later. Text messages showed the 2 were friendly in the beginning, sharing Christmas dinner together, even going out to get drinks. Mia saying she had a great time last night despite being kicked out of the restaurant. She also added Monique was very easy to be around. Less than 2 weeks later, the situation delved into a bitter feud. Monique filed a restraining order against Mia in late January, a month after the 2 met, citing Mia's disturbing behavior such as verbal abuse. Documents show she no longer felt safe using shared areas of the home, saying, quote, Mia's irrational and aggressive behavior is escalating every day, and I'm afraid she will brandish her weapon, threaten me with her handgun, even shoot me. A judge granted a temporary restraining order for nearly a month. Documents show Monique says she avoided shared spaces due to cigarette smoke, harassment, and threatening notes taped to her bedroom door. One note addressing Monique says, "Shame on you, Miss Perfect." It went on to say, "God doesn't like your behavior, no matter how much you worship." Neighbors tell ABC10 this was not a premeditated murder and that the roommate owed the landlord money Now, court documents filed in mid-May shows that Mia was suing Monique for more than $12,000 in unpaid rent. Court documents show the last time Monique was in court was the day Placer County District Attorney's Office says she was killed on June 2nd. Her body discovered 9 days later in a home the two shared. A tragic case turning this quiet and friendly neighborhood into a scene of unthinkable crime. Reporting in Roseville, Garchpaul Sunga, ABC 10.
Garchpaul, thank you. Investigators haven't said what weapon was used in the alleged murder. Mia Fisher will be in court next Thursday morning. She's being held without bail at the Placer County Jail.
Well, a California lawmaker is warning drivers gas prices could go up by a few bucks as soon as next year. Now he's requesting an audit of the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, to see if there's a way to track and slow the rise in the cost of gas. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio to discuss the goal of the audit and how California drivers are bracing themselves. Jeannie?
Well, Becca, with the state's gas tax expected to go up in the next 2 weeks, Republican Senator Brian Jones says Californians can't afford another increase. He says the policies passed by CARB are driving up the cost for drivers, and he's hoping the audit will show that.
Gas is costing enough where, vacations are cheaper flying than driving, which is something different.
Instead of traveling for fun, Jen Ross has found herself planning more staycations as she has been feeling the financial impacts from current gas prices.
It really stops us from traveling like we'd want to travel. We just kind of stick around and have staycations.
On July 1st, California's gas tax will automatically increase an additional 2 cents, totaling 61.2 cents a gallon.
Drivers here in Sacramento say gas is already not affordable, and even a penny more could put a strain on their wallets.
Every 2 cents counts.
Republican Senator Brian Jones says California drivers should brace themselves for more increases. With the recent amendments made to the low carbon fuel standard by the California Air Resources Board, Jones believes gas prices could soar to more than $8 per gallon by 2026. Now he's demanding an audit.
Number one is, does California Air Resources Board appropriately estimate the economic impacts of these decisions when they're making them on these regulations? Number two, do they meet legal transparency requirements?
Jones wants the audit to find out if CARB is weighing economic impacts of its regulations and if CARB has deliberately downplayed projected gas costs. He says CARB's policies are causing gas refineries to close in the state, driving up costs.
Gas prices in California can get up to $8.43 a gallon by December 2026. That's only 18 months from now. That's not very long. Californians can't afford $8.43 a gallon gasoline.
In response, a CARB spokesperson tells ABC 10 there is no tax associated with the LCFS and the state does not collect money from the program, adding that market forces drive costs but not regulators. CARB also says gas is likely to increase between 5 and 8 cents per gallon, and these high-end assumptions have no historical or documentable evidence. For now, drivers like Ross are trying to find any opportunity to cut costs.
We're carpooling. Just drive less, work at home for sure, I don't know what the easy answer is, but raising gas prices isn't the answer.
Senator Brian Jones says the committee will hear his audit request in August. He has also launched a change.org petition to try and get ahead of the issue.
We start tonight with a new proposal from state lawmakers. Here are the details. With protests over ICE raids, some Democrats want to ban officers from wearing face masks.
Yeah, but who does it impact, and does the bill stand a chance? ABC 10's Garchpaul Sunga is at the state capitol getting answers tonight.
It is called the No Secret Police Act, and that name is already stirring debate. As you can imagine, supporters and critics are completely on the opposite sides of the badge.
At times even wearing army fatigues, where you can't tell are these law enforcement officers or a vigilante militia.
Democratic state senators Scott Wiener and Jesse Adeguin says it's about restoring public trust by making sure officers, especially federal ones, in the light of the events in Los Angeles, can't operate anonymously on California soil.
People are afraid. Families are being torn apart. In addition, we are seeing people who are impersonating law enforcement officials. And so this is also to try to discourage these imposters.
The bill would require officers to keep their faces visible and uniforms marked with names or badges, except in certain high-risk situations like SWAT calls or disasters.
It is important that we put this in place now.
But critics like Assemblymember Tom Lackey, who was a retired CHP sergeant, says the bill sends the wrong message and could even violate federal jurisdiction.
And to call it the No Secret Police Act, I think that promotes distrust. It's an us versus them environment. There are a number of people that want to retaliate against some of these officers that have their face covered because they become victims of doxing and targeting by criminal professionals.
A prominent California police association says this could impact their undercover work.
If you have a bone to pick with the federal government, with how the federal law enforcement is, then you need to go over there and deal with it with them.
Opponents say when it comes to local and state officers, they are already required by law to have identifiable information and department insignia on their uniforms. Sacramento attorney Mark Reichel, who has taken on federal cases, says federal officers are supposed to identify themselves, but adds there is no clear federal rule that allows ICE to wear masks.
Is there a conflict between the federal law and the state law? And if there is, the federal law prevails. If there isn't, is it too much of an infringement on federal law enforcement? And that's going to be the big question. In light of the fact their own rules require them to identify themselves anyway, there's a good chance this law actually may be upheld in California only for ICE agents who operate in California.
The acting ICE director defending his officers, telling the Associated Press in a statement that the officers wear their face coverings so they don't receive death threats. Now, this bill is new. It hasn't been analyzed by the legislative attorneys, and no hearing has been set. Reporting from the state capitol, Garch Paulsunga, ABC 10.
Now to another fire, this one at a popular store in Old Sacramento. Fire crews were called to Evangelens Costume Mansion around 1 this morning. It's one of the oldest buildings in the entire city.
Yeah, ABC 10's Roxanne Elias is there live, and you had a chance to speak to the owner today, right, Roxanne?
We did, Chris. Earlier today, I spoke with the store owner, the store manager, employees who were all out here. They were quite busy dealing with the aftermath of the fire, and they were putting up signs letting people know that the store would be temporarily closed. Right now, you can see behind me, they have actually taped the storefront up, not allowing people to pass by here as they make some repairs. Some of the visitors here and other business owners now saddened after seeing the damage.
For years, the unique charm of Evangelens Costume Mansion is what has attracted visitors to Old Sacramento. It's housed in one of Sacramento's oldest buildings.
Every time my sister or my mom and dad come out, we always make a special trip out here. It's just, we usually go to the place across the street in Evangelens. It's one of our staple places that we shop at.
On Tuesday, Stefan Modich brought his mother and father who are visiting from Ohio, but they were heartbroken to see that an early morning fire had caused it to close.
We were disappointed because it burnt down. This is one of my favorite stores. I usually have buy a t-shirt every year.
The Sacramento Fire Department says they were alerted to the fire in the early morning hours.
Once units arrived, they located smoke coming from the building, but it was cold smoke, which makes us kind of the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit because we don't know where the fire is.
Captain Justin Sylvia says once it was located, the challenge for firefighters is that it's a costume store filled with clothing racks and multiple rooms. They were also worried about other nearby businesses, but he says it was the sprinklers inside that were the real hero in this case.
We could have potentially taken down this entire block without sprinklers. This is old construction, it's heavy timber, it's true dimensional lumber that was used.
Investigators have listed the fire as undetermined, but Sylvia says it looks accidental and it could have potentially been caused by something electrical. Jason Minnow, who owns Sacramento Suites, says he's known the owner for about 40 years and he has faith customers and business owners will come together to help it get back on its feet.
Oh, I think that there's going to be a huge outpouring of support for Deborah. I mean, she's been down here forever. Lots and lots of people come down here.
Back out here live on social media, Evangelens did post and say that they will be temporarily closed until the foreseeable future. They also thank the Sacramento Fire Department for their quick response, and they say that they will let the community know what's going to happen next as soon as they know. I am live in Old Sacramento. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Roxanne, we thank you so very much for that. And keep in mind, Mayor Kevin McCarty released this statement saying, quote, "We are devastated to hear about the fire at Sacramento's beloved Evangelens costume mansion early this morning. Thankfully, no one was harmed, and we look forward to the repair and reopening of this historic city treasure."
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, an alarming new trend. More Americans are tapping into their 401ks for emergencies. A new report finds some Americans are treating these retirement plans more like a rainy day fund. A Sacramento-based financial coach I talked with warns this could cause more harm than good. Is it generally frowned upon to withdraw early from your 401k?
Generally speaking, it is.
A recent report by the Wall Street Journal finds a record number of 401k holders took early withdrawals last year, with more than a third citing foreclosure or eviction as the reason for tapping into those funds.
I think we're seeing it mainly because we're still dealing with the effects of inflation over the past several years. And now the current economic environment also includes a lot of uncertainty.
Whatever your reason, financial advisor and coach Maureen Paley recommends crunching the numbers first and looking at the math very closely.
Make sure that the cash that you eventually get after the penalties and taxes are going to be what you actually need.
Paley says withdrawing 401k funds early means withdrawing before the age of 59 and a half, which is the minimum age to withdraw to avoid paying penalties and additional tax liabilities. Keep in mind, penalties can be as much as 20%.
Some people might be needing fast cash now that they don't want to go out and get a loan for. Maybe they don't qualify for a loan to get that cash, but they do have it in their 401k. But it's always important to remember it comes with penalties.
Know your numbers and have a plan for how you'll use that cash. Paley says withdrawing from your 401k might make financial sense if you're using that money to pay down high-interest debt you're struggling to pay off.
Consider it very carefully. And also come up with a plan to get back into investments in another way, maybe in a separate account in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, where you can get back into that opportunity of building those investments over time.
Paley says when you take money out early from your 401k, you're potentially giving up opportunities to build future capital with your investments, meaning that money you took out is no longer growing in your 401k.
If you're somebody who has plenty of time to make it up, this might be a reasonable option for you.
But if you're older or closer to retirement age, Paley suggests you calculate the dollar amount you need monthly and yearly when you retire.
And understand, if I make this withdrawal now, how many more years do I have to keep working and contributing to still get to that same dollar amount?
Paley also suggests thinking about other ways to come up with the cash. Do you qualify for a loan at a reasonable interest rate? Can you pick up some extra work temporarily and put your energy into getting that extra cash that you're looking for instead of withdrawing early from your 401k? Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Stream all of my Dollars and Cents stories right now on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app and email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
Welcome back in. I am Kevin John. Well, in case you haven't been paying attention, Sacramento State athletics have been on a mission over the last 6 months. First, the hiring of Brennan Marion as the new head football coach, then the hiring of Sacramento Kings legend Mike Bibby as the head men's basketball coach. Oh, yeah. And then a month ago, a guy by the name of Shaquille O'Neal was announced as the general manager of the men's basketball team. And then today, some more big news for the institution. Yes, it's officially official. Sac State athletics are moving to the Big West Conference. Now, this move goes into effect the beginning of the 2026-27 school year. Now, a total of 16 teams from Sac State will compete for championships in the Big West. This includes baseball, men and women's basketball, beach volleyball, men and women's cross country, golf, and so many other sports. Now, Sac State will be the 12th institution joining the Big West, which includes a slew of California schools. Now, keep in mind the football program is still hoping to move to the FBS, and they will have a meeting with the Division I Council next week to see if they're approved. In the meantime, I caught up with the director of athletics at Sac State, who explains why they made this move now.
We felt that, and we feel very strongly, it's the best scenario for all of our programs that the conference sponsors. So It's no knock in any ways on the Big Sky. This is more about the opportunity to compete in the Big West. It checked off all the boxes we were looking for, and we're just excited about the opportunity. Very grateful. We recruit quite heavily in Southern California and the Central Coast. So us being able to have a presence down there for recruiting.
And you know, it's funny, you heard him say recruiting. When I was talking to him, that's one of the main things he was talking about is just the amount of exposure they'll get in this conference and their ability to recruit 4-star, 5-star athletes. So exciting times for Sac State.
So this week we have been talking with Marcus Allen about Pixar's newest film, Elio.
Yeah, this morning ABC 10's Marcus Allen is at the Pixar campus in Emeryville with one of the animators from the film.
Yeah, guys, full disclosure, I might be crying a little bit. This is my happy place. This is Pixar Animation Studios. Check it out. Hundreds and thousands of square feet dedicated to creativity. There's a reason they're winning all of those Oscars. It's because of movies like Elio, their latest, and it's because of artists like Evo. Evo, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ivo. I'm a sets artist at Pixar.
Yeah, he's from Brazil, so shout out Brazil. What are we going to be drawing today? You're teaching me to draw.
Yes, so today we're going to draw my favorite character, Gordon. He's Elio's best friend.
And by the way, that's not an accent you're hearing. The character is Glorden, and it comes up a lot in the movie, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so when I draw characters, I like to start drawing circles first to define the big shapes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with the chest, okay? So you do a circle like that.
What? Ew. Oh, no. My name's Elio. What's your name? I'm Gordon.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
36 years in the film industry.
Still brings you joy?
Of course, every day. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, hey, let us work on this. I need to focus. So while we're focusing, I want you to see one of my favorite interviews from our half-hour special we did on Elio. Brad Garrett. I have to edit him quite a bit, but my favorite interview of all time. We talked about our history. Take a look.
About childhood and fitting in and battling the bully. Right?
Well said, sir.
Thank you, man.
I don't know if I've ever had a more lovely time. Usually I walk out of these
fun.
rooms kind of beaten down, but this time I feel like a warm embrace from
see,
you.
I'm medicated now. That's the difference.
It's working out. I'm going to have what he's... Love me some Brad Garrett. Brad Garrett, of course, plays the dad of Gordon in the movie. All right, back to Gordon, what we're drawing right now. We've come a long way. How much more do we have to do?
I think we're pretty close.
Okay.
You can add more detail if you want, but improve your shape.
I can improve my shape.
The outline and the Gordon shape.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay, yes. Hey, congratulations on the film. Like, his work is amazing. In the movie, you're going to see an airport that has this gorgeous, futuristic, but mid-century modern look to it, and it looks amazing. Evo, thank you very much. Pixar, thank you so much. You got to watch the movie. It is absolutely beautiful. It opens today in theaters everywhere, and see Elio on the biggest screen possible. Speaking of which, let's put this on the biggest screen possible. All right, I'm going to auction his up on eBay. Mine, I'll give it to you next time I see you on the streets. Back to you guys.
Marcus Allen looks good, and be sure to tune in to take a look. It's tomorrow morning at 9:30, where Mark has the full Elio special with the cast and crew. You can also watch it for free on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can watch the show for free.
One, two, three, four, five, 7, 8.
At first glance, this might look like your average cheer practice.
7, 8, 1.
But if you look closer, you'll see everyone has a story.
I felt the passion for it. So myself and 4 other of our board members decided to create this program.
That passion led Adon Washabaugh to create the Sacramento Cheer Elite Team 3 years ago.
All right, let's try this one.
We are open to all experience levels.
Whoa. I was like, levitating.
You do not have to be a cheerleader. You do not have to be a dancer. We are a philanthropic organization at heart.
The team is part of the Pride Cheerleading Association, whose goal is to raise awareness and funds for LGBTQ plus causes.
We want to create a space that's open and welcoming to all of the LGBTQ community, as well as our allies. So we have all different genders, we have different gender expressions, religious beliefs, people who are straight, people who are allies.
That inclusive spirit is what drew in Blake Young.
I am a gay black man, and I just love being out in the community as its own, but being on this team and actually like taking people with me to these events and being part of like giving everybody their visibility and being able to just be like, I'm here.
And community is an important part of why Jessica Bierley recently became a part of the team.
Specifically, I have a lot of friends and family, loved ones who are part of this beautiful community, so it's a good chance for me to get out there and support them any way I can.
With Pride Month being the busiest time of year for this team, Chase Freed says she's proud to represent an organization to uplift a community she cares about deeply.
It's the joy that I get in uplifting the community and bringing my happy-go-lucky self and just putting smiles on people's faces, and then the awe that people have when they see our performances.
Although Pride Month brings the biggest spotlight, Adon says their work continues all year long, creating a supportive place to go.
We just want to make sure that our voices are a little bit louder for those people who may be in those queer spaces or those marginalized groups, because they don't always have the loudest voice.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus this week. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
Our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app has so much to offer. Get your news live and on demand 24/7, so you can watch the news when you want. There's breaking news, extended forecast, and so much more. We have everything you need to get through your day and ready for the weekend. We've got you covered on money-saving tips, travel, entertainment, and sports. Download the free ABC 10 Plus app on your smart TV and popular streaming devices like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. ABC 10. We stand for you 24/7.